Hey ho, dear ones, I have a great episode about getting referrals. Referrals are truly business gold. They are absolutely, hands down, the most easeful sales. No question. With a good referral, you can take a brand new person who's never heard of you before or your offers, and within seconds, get them super excited to invest in your highest cost offers. So the lead time with referrals is so much smaller and less than with people who stumble upon you and sign up for your newsletter, and then they get to know you. And those folks are great too. So we do need new leads coming in from marketing sources, right? And also from referrals, ideally. I do have some clients who are very magical at referrals, and they always say that they don't market. And they say it with pride, and they should. If you're getting so many referrals that you don't really need to market, that is special, and you should pat yourself on the back. However, imagine what your business could be doing if you did a bit of marketing. You know, you might be leaving so much opportunity on the table by not actually getting out there and promoting the amazing thing that everybody's talking about. So I'm a big believer in learn how to market yourself, learn how to hone your messages, get on the right platforms, reach larger and larger audiences through marketing processes that feel good and align for your energy, and think of ways that you can be generating those golden new leads called referrals. And that's what we're going to be unpacking in today's super powerful episode of Soul Guide Radio. And I'm going to be revealing my experience with Gene, the trademark lawyer. Now, Gene is very specific on words. And if I don't say the thing quite right, he will correct me. So I don't even know if he even really calls himself a trademark lawyer. Maybe he's a lawyer who specializes in trademarks. I think that's probably more precise. But the point is, Gene blew me away by his ability to get referrals. And it was before I even associated him with referrals. So it's a really extraordinary story. And I'm going to tell you all what that means right here in a second. So let's get to it. In today's episode, I reveal the referral case study of Gene, what he did absolutely right to attract referrals, and the important thing that we need to avoid. We'll end on an invitation that will have you showing up in just the right way in your business to magnetize oodles of referrals with joy, ease, and speed. So you're going to want to stay with me until the end. Hello, Soul Guide Circle. That is the name of this global community of soul-guided leaders and entrepreneurs. In the Soul Guide Circle, we are using our spiritual gifts to grow prosperous, heart-led businesses that are on the leading edge of consciousness. Find a link to join our closed Facebook group at AllisonScampbell.com or in the show notes. Today, we're talking about the do's and don'ts of becoming a referral magnet. And I want to share with you a case study from a lawyer that I've been working with who specializes in trademarks, as I am trying and pursuing, and we'll see what happens, to get Soul Blueprint trademarked. And yes, Soul Blueprint is something that if you Google it, you'll hear a lot of different people using, which is fine. But I use it in a very specific way, as it's a specific methodology and it's a specific energetic alignment approach. And, you know, you can look at it as something similar to human design, a way to understand our energy better. And so I'm hoping that part is the thing that gets trademarked so that I can really scale Soul Blueprint to the next level in the ways I feel called to do. So that's how I got to know Gene. And I got to know him actually initially through a referral. So I'm a member of this closed Facebook group, and it's a great place to go when I'm looking for new expertise. I will go to that group and say, hey, does anybody know of a good copywriter? Can anybody recommend a good web designer? Can anybody recommend a good lawyer who specializes in trademarks? And that's exactly what I did. And I got lots of responses from that post. And I read through them all, and I pursued about 5 different recommendations from people saying, hey, I worked with this person and they were amazing. I worked with that person and they were great. And of course, I use my intuition in these types of things. And so I found the 5 top intuitive hits of trademark lawyers that I thought might be a good fit for me. And I reached out to each one of them. One of them responded right away and basically told me I was too small-time potatoes and they only work with like multi-million-dollar companies. And they referred me to someone else, which was all well and good, but the way they communicated it, and they did specialize in working with women. So it wasn't like a super, like, I think that they were trying to be a business that had a more feminine approach as they specialized in working with women. But the way they communicated it to me just really left me with an icky taste in my mouth. So I didn't even pursue the person they recommend. I just took that one off the list. A couple of them I reached out to, and it took them a very, very, very long time to respond. So that is, hey, listen, that is a don't right there. I'm going to share that don't right now. If somebody sends you a referral, respond to them immediately. I don't care what you're working on. I don't care if you're in the final chapter of your book. If you are someone who wants more clients and more people into your offers, prioritize referrals over all other things because they are your hottest leads. They are the ones that are overwhelmingly more likely to convert into a high-paying client or customer. Now, if you're someone who has waiting lists and you don't really need that and you can put them on a back burner, good job. Hello, pat yourself on the back and make sure you have some sort of automation set up or some sort of really juicy waiting list to continue to cultivate that relationship, even if it's in an automated way. That can really work too. So either you're going to reach out to your referrals immediately to say, hey, how are you? Can I learn more about you? Ideally, can we hop on a quick phone call? And if you are to the point where you have lots of waiting lists up, craft a referral automation that you can put them in and offer them some gifts and ways to get to know you even deeper. So when you're ready for a new client, they are all warmed up and ready for you. All right. So anyway, I don't even really remember the rest of the people that I reached out to because they didn't leave me with much of an impression. They didn't wow me in their responses. But guess who wowed me in his response? So to be honest, I didn't even go to his website. The woman in the closed Facebook group had left me his email address. So I just sent an email and I said, hey, I have this program that I would like to get trademarked. Can you help me? And he wrote me this super long response in very small font. So I had to magnify it many, many times to read it. And it just really brought everything to light. And like, hey, here is how the trademark process works. It's not 100% guarantee, but let me know what you're thinking about and I can check to see what the chances are. He really, really just gave me this great, before he even really knew if I was a good fit for him, he wrote me this really long, thoughtful, not copy and pasted response about the process itself. It wasn't even about him. He wasn't selling himself. He was just providing me something that was super valuable in my efforts to try to navigate the trademarking world, which I know very, very little about. And he just educated me, which was something in that moment I really, really needed and really found helpful. And you guys might remember me talking about in your marketing and in your connecting with potential clients and customers, it's all about providing them snippets of transformation. And those are small little shifts of knowledge, inspiration, healing, know-how, etc., to help solve a problem, give them something they need, inspire them, activate them. And Gene was solving a huge problem for me because guess what, y'all? I am not a researcher. I am like the opposite of the researcher. If I ever need to do a project that requires real, like actual research in books, reading about what other people have to say, I have to hire somebody. I am a person who channels from source. I get things from my experience. I use my claircognizant inner knowing. I don't know how that I know, but I know that I know. And that is how I am designed. But in life, we all have times where we need to research, of course. And what Gene did for me was so amazingly valuable that he took lots and lots and lots of research and condensed it down in very tiny font. Gene uses very tiny font. I know I already mentioned that, but part of my feedback to him is to increase your font size because it's very technical. But this tiny font answer was so valuable to me. So I was already like, this is my guy. Like I knew this was my guy. But what I didn't know was if I wanted to go through with it. Because I know Soul Blueprint is something that's used by a lot of people. Maybe I wanted to try to get something else trademarked that is more likely to get accepted. It was also an extremely busy time in my business. So I was like, okay, trademarks are nice, but I have to put it on the back burner right now. So he sent me this nice, long, thoughtful response. And I said back to him, basically, okay, thank you. Let me digest this. And then a long time passed, like weeks. And I think then I got back in contact with him and I said, oh, I'm sorry for the delays, but I'm in the middle of a few launches. And okay, thank you so much for that. Here are my follow-on questions. So I asked him some follow-on questions. And again, he provided me with very thorough, personalized responses that I found extremely helpful as I decided, do I want to invest the time and money to trademark something that could get rejected and I don't get that money back? So it is a question. So if you are thinking about trademarks, that's something you have to think about. It could get rejected, and are you going to be okay with that? Or if you're not going to be okay with it, then maybe now's not the right time or it's not the right name or item to be trademarked. So I was in the process of thinking about all that, and I'm usually extremely decisive. Like I get the hit from source or higher self and I move out. But for some reason, I just couldn't land on an answer about whether or not I wanted to pursue this trademark at this time. So again, long periods of time elapsed in between our exchanges. And then he would pop in out of nowhere and say, hey, how are you doing on this? Any updates? And no part of him was in the energy of like, hey, look, I gave you all this free advice and now I haven't heard from you. And that's a big don't in becoming a referral magnet. If you are cultivating a new client and you're offering them a lot and they're not biting, watch your bitterness. Watch your response to that, because there's no reason you should be bitter or any of us should be bitter when somebody doesn't choose to buy from us. And here's the reason why. None of us should be offering our clients or customers anything until they actually have bought. I am a huge believer in making people pay first before you actually offer them the product or service. That keeps the energy so much cleaner and high vibe. And then you won't find yourself chasing people to get paid because they've consumed or used your thing and haven't paid you yet and aren't responding to you when you're sending them an invoice. Okay? So That's clear. People have to pay before they get anything. If they haven't paid yet, that means you're in a courtship, the way Gene was courting me, right? And he was offering me stuff for free. And when I was not responding or being non-committal, at not any point did I feel like he was frustrated, putting pressure on me. When are you going to figure all this out? So when you're offering your clients or customers, prospective clients or customers, anything, you have to lead with service. You're in service to them. That's the big do. Lead with service. And lead with service that doesn't expect anything in return. Although, yes, your intention is that you create such a connection with them that they eventually buy from you, but that's implied. That's why you're leading with service. You want to serve people and you want to draw in those people who want and need and are ready to pay for what it is you have to offer. So we're leading with service. That's the huge do. And the biggest don't in your efforts to become a referral magnet is don't be angry or bitter or any sort of low vibrational emotion when you've been providing free services, content, things to someone and an event to cultivate them and get them excited to work with you, and they eventually say no. You can feel that alone in your home office, and if you didn't feel that, you probably wouldn't be a human being. I mean, you can feel disappointed if you were really excited at the idea of someone investing in one of your offers and they eventually say no. You have full right to be disappointed, upset, bummed. But don't transfer that on to the prospective client and customer. No, even if you really have a strong urge to, take a minute, go away from your home office, spend some time to feel the feels. If you have a coach, talk to your coach. If you want to hire me, I'm really, really good at helping you through these situations, and I offer Voxer support with my clients. So you can send me a Voxer and say, oh my God, this client I wanted so bad just said no, and I am so bummed. Give yourself permission to feel bummed. And if you don't give yourself that permission, you're probably bottling up painful emotions inside, and that's going to lead to an energy block, and we don't want that. So feel those feels, breathe, release, get to a neutral energy or higher, and then go back to your prospective client and say, I totally understand. I get you. And guess what? I am here for you no matter what. So stay part of my community, and I put out super high value free content, or maybe in 3 months, 6 months, a year, you will be ready. I cannot tell you guys how many times I got a firm no from a client, prospective client, and I thought to myself, oh, I don't think that person will ever get to a yes. I mean, that was a hard no. So I let them go, and even there have been times where they've unsubscribed my mailing list. So it was like a hard no. And yeah, okay, so that was disappointing. I felt the feels, I breathed, I released, and then I went on my thing. And then at a certain point, they resubscribed to my list 3 months later, 6 months later, and before you know it, they're back enrolling in one of my premium offers. That has happened countless times. So our energy, when someone eventually gets to know, when we're in this courtship, is always to be in a neutral or higher energy as we're communicating with the prospective client. If you have painful emotions to release, you do that, and you go to your own coaches and your own peers and your own support systems to do that, and then you get back to a clean energy before you then engage on your communications with your prospective client. So getting back to Gene, who is just basically doing everything right. He was just in an energy of service. And you know what? I really think that he intuitively knew that I was going to get to yes. And he intuitively knew that I was going to be a great client for him, and I pay in full and I do my homework. So then after one of our exchanges, he had again offered me a super valuable snippet of transformation that was completely in the energy of service to me. And I never felt at all that he was in any way, shape, or form ever pressuring me, or, the tactic where they give you a lot of value and then make you feel guilty for not investing, which is another don't do that. It reminds me of the people like when you're walking down the street and there's someone with a clipboard who wants a moment of your time to raise money for some cause, and you say, no, thank you. You smile politely. You don't have time for a conversation. You're already donating to other causes. You're not looking for another cause to donate. You smile, I'm sorry, thank you, good luck, and they look really pissed off. That really bothers me because I give it to a lot of causes. I give time, I give money. And so when I'm walking down the street and somebody wants money from me for another cause and they seem pissed off at me when I say no, it's like, well, literally, could any of us give to all causes? So we never want to be in that energy in business where we do a lot of free stuff for someone and then make them feel like they're on the hook to invest. I really can't stand that. And Gene was not doing that. I don't actually even know what he was actually thinking behind the scenes. And who knows? Maybe he was behind the scenes thinking, she better hire me. I've done all this work for her. If she doesn't hire me, she's going to be a real jerk. But the energy he presented to me that I received as the receiver, as the prospective client, was all one of I'm in service to you and I don't care if you buy my product or not. That is the biggest do when setting yourself up to become a referral magnet. I'm going to say it again. I'm in service to you, and I don't care whether you buy my offer or not. And as an addendum to that, the second most important biggest do is you staying in energetic alignment while you're in the process of being in service to people, because there is absolutely something called overgiving. Overgiving in your marketing, overgiving in your prospecting. And when you're overgiving, you're going to be out of alignment and it's not going to feel good whether the client buys from you or not, because you're out of alignment. A super powerful thing to check into to see if you're in energetic alignment or not is your human design, not self theme, is here to be your guide. So if you're a manifester, you will feel angry if you're overgiving or undergiving. There might be a situation where you're not giving enough free stuff out for people to really get to know you, and that will also make you feel out of alignment. So wherever you are, overgiving, most soul-guided entrepreneurs overgive, but every once in a while we could be in a situation where we're undergiving and you're not self-theme, will guide you there. Generators, you're going to feel disappointment. Manifesting generators, you'll feel both anger and disappointment. Projectors, we will feel bitter. And projectors are really, really good at overgiving. So if you find yourself feeling bitter, it is likely that you have overgiven, given too much free stuff away. And reflectors will feel disappointed. So it's about being in service, not expecting, not putting anybody on the hook to buy from you, and making sure you maintain your energetic alignment in the process. So getting back to Gene, we had an exchange, and it was in the exchange where I was like, I am 100% in. He had given me his final snippet of transformation about the process, and I was like, I'm in. I got the heart yes finally, which I hadn't been getting before. I was like, if we try and it fails, I'm totally at peace with that. No big deal. And I said, send me your invoice. I'm going to pay in full. I paid in full, and he literally had the application for me ready to sign, all I's dotted, all T's crossed within a day. And he said, even if they deny this, I've got my repeal processes, and I just feel like this guy is on my side. He's fighting for me. And listen, I'm going to do this with so much love in my heart right now, you guys. Listen, this is how it's done. All that service that he gave to me, I'm going to pass it on. I'm not just going to take that and save it for myself. I want to give back to Gene. I just want to from my heart. It just gives me joy to do this. I am going to recommend him to you. I have an audience full of entrepreneurs who are at times in their journey looking for a lawyer who specializes in trademarks. I would like to recommend Gene. And what is his last name? He's got a difficult last name to pronounce. Bolmarchich. I think it's Gene Bolmarchich. I'm sorry, Gene, if I'm saying your name wrong. We are going to leave his email address and his very, very, very simple website in the show notes. And I highly, highly recommend you reach out to him if you're considering launching the process to get something trademarked. I refer him to you. I am not part of any affiliate program. I will not get anything financial in return if you decide to hire him, but it will put a lot of joy in my heart if he gets a handful of clients because of me. That'll give me a whole lot of joy in my heart. So I just want to quickly recap the do's of Gene. He led with service. Lots of service, but he maintained, at least with his interfaces with me, which is what's most important, an energetic harmony where he didn't seem like he cared if I bought from him or not. He was in it to be in service to people. He checked back in with me gently from time to time when I had gone quiet. Just, hey, how are things going? Any new news on this? And then when it got time to it, and we got to the point where I had asked enough questions of him, he firmly reminded me to go any further. At this point, I had to pay the fee. So he very kindly and rightly and with great energetic alignment said, if we're going to dance any more together, Allison, you've got an invoice to pay. And he was 100% right. And I probably should have paid that invoice about a month before I did, but that's where we landed. And I think the reason why he gave me, I think he was using his intuition, and he gave me a lot of free advice up front because I think he intuitively knew, maybe without even realizing it, that I was going to be a really good client for him. And I've already sent him one referral, because I posted something on Facebook, and then one of my clients said to me, oh my gosh, Allison, I'm looking for a lawyer who specializes in trademarks. Can you connect us? So I've already connected him to one prospective client, and I'm hoping after this episode, many, many more go to him. And another little recap, the things to avoid doing, the don'ts. Don't overgive or undergive and find yourself out of energetic alignment. Don't get bitter when you've given something to a prospective client and they eventually say no. And allow your human design, not self-theme, to be your guide towards that alignment in your marketing, sales, and referral generating processes. All right, my dear ones, this was a really fun episode for me to record. I just loved sharing the story of Gene. My invitation for you this week is to think about ways in your business, easeful, simple ways you can lead with service. Just lead with service in ways that you feel called to. It doesn't feel like a chore. You feel excited to. So for example, in my business, I'm starting to do some things that offers smaller snippets of transformation. So, well, no, I shouldn't say that. Hopefully, it still offers big snippets of transformation, but they're smaller, more bite-sized things for you as the consumer to digest. So I'm going to be offering and am offering my Thursday Reels on Instagram, where it's just a 3-minute reel offering you a quick spiritual tip to help you grow a prosperous heart-led business. I'm going to be doing more like quick spiritual tips on my closed Facebook group, the Soul Guide Circle, and just little things, little nuggets that you can digest quickly in your busy day that will lead you to results. And that's the service I feel called to lead with. And then every once in a while, I'm going to say, hey, if you want to learn more about any of this, DM me at Instagram or Facebook, or send me an email to allison@allisonscammell.com. And with that in mind, if you would like my support to help you set yourself up and your business up to become a referral magnet, please use those ways to find me. Those links are also in the show notes, and I would love to book a call with you to chat about how it could all look. And if you are loving on this episode, and I hope you are, head over to the show notes, head to where you listen to podcasts, hit subscribe, and leave Soul Guide Radio a rating and review. I will read your words on the air, and if you screenshot the review and email it to me at allison@allisonscammell.com, I will send you an intuitive, bespoke gift that you will really love. So I look forward to hearing your feedback and review form. And as always, until next time, may your soul guide the way.